Good evening, everybody. Good evening from wherever you're watching. Let's just give a few minutes for other persons to join before we start today's live session. We'll start in like about a few minutes from now. So please let's just remain on the call on the live. We'll start in a few minutes from now. Good evening, everybody. If you're on the live right now, please can I get a reaction from you? Good evening, Tolu. Thank you very much for joining. I don't know if you can hear me, though you're backstage and the audience are not yet new, but to thank you very much for joining and we'll have you up soon. I am the person who has been communicating with you across email, and we're glad to have you on this session with us. We're gonna start in few minutes from now. Oh, good evening. Good evening, Amashawa. Thank you for joining the live. We're starting right now. Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Scottish Training Institution, one of our live sessions, as usual, talking on different aspects that we need to know as we evolve in the remote workspace. And we're so glad to have another session tonight. Thank you very much for joining, and you're welcome. And to our guest speaker, thank you for honoring our invitation, and we're so glad to have you here with us. But before we start, we always like to start with God, because in Scouts we believe that without God nothing is possible. So wherever we are, let's please just close our eyes while I give a short prayer so we can fully start. So in Jesus' name, Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for another live session tonight. We say, may your name be highly exalted. Whatever we're going to discuss here tonight, Lord, let it not just be hearers, but also doers of the words, O Lord. We shall listen, understand, and digest and execute these words we learn tonight in the name of Jesus. Let your presence be with us, and let your grace continue to be with us. Um, Give our guest speaker a retentive memory and the grace to deliver as expected and as usual. And Lord, thank you for tonight. We hope the session goes beautifully and excellently well. We say, may your name be highly exalted in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus, for in Jesus' mighty name we've prayed. Amen. So, right before we start, I want to just do a brief review of the Scottish Training Institution. So, over the past weeks, we have been we've had our students in training, and it's been really amazing with them. Everybody's been doing awesome, from taking their classes to getting their attacks done. It's been amazing, and we're just proud of every one of them. A couple of weeks from now, they'll be leaving, and we'll be having, you know, other people join the institute, and we're just so proud of how far we're growing. And yes, Cardi's training institution still remains here, and we're still evolving and doing better in various aspects. And aside the lessons based on the different niches, we still have like several other sessions, like one of these, which we take which we usually take like our YouTube lives on different aspects that we need to know, because it's not just about learning your niche. There's so many other different things you still need to understand and learn as you're going into the remote space. And Scaldis is touching every of that aspect, so that you don't come out not just with knowledge of your skill but also knowledge of what you actually need to do after learning your skill. So proud of how far we're going, and yes, we're doing amazing. The today's session is talking of young leaders leadership accelerator, and excuse me, and it's obviously going to be an amazing session. As a leader or as someone who is going to be working with other people, it's always important to know the crooks and corner of leading people or even working with people as a team. Leading does not necessarily mean that you have to be the at the top or be the one um, known as the above head, but for the fact that you're able to work with other people, you're able to serve other people, you're able to communicate and collaborate with other people. It's also part of leading. It's also part of leadership. It's also part of you know leading as a whole, because leading is not just about delegating, it's also about working with the people that you are delegating to, or working with other people who are sharing tax among themselves. So it's a very interesting topic, and I believe that nobody should miss such a wonderful topic, because definitely we're going to be touching various aspects, and we have our guest speaker tonight, who is also going to be talking a lot on young leaders leadership accelerator, and I'm very sure that tonight is going to be an awesome session. Yes. So I want to give us like few minutes. Let's go call our friends, tell our friends to tell our friends that we have started, and our guest speaker is going to be coming right up shortly. So let's say I'm giving everybody 2 minutes. Go call your friends that you know that should not be missing the session tonight. Call your friends, tell your friends to tell a friend that we have started tonight. And yes, 2 minutes and we'll be right back here. So please let us try to reach out to people that we know so that they will join the session, because tonight's session is going to be an amazing one, and I believe that nobody is meant to miss it. Hmm. In less than 2 minutes, we're gonna have our guest speaker here. So please let us, get our friends to join the session, so that they wouldn't miss out on such a wonderful session tonight. Good evening, First Lady. Welcome, welcome. We're just having like about 1 minute left for us to go call our friends and tell our friends that we have started. Uh-huh. We don't want to waste much of our time because we're working on tight time frame, but we need our people here too. About 1 minute more. Let's do well to tell people to join. Mhm. Okay, okay, okay. Well. It's 2 minutes, so let's start on. If you're on the call right now, can you tell me a little bit about how Scottish training institution has been going for you? I did a recap earlier, but I also want to hear from you all. How has the institution, the courses, the training, or if you're working for Scottish, how has it been going for you lately? Let's just have a little chit chat before we fully dive in today because our topic today is about leading, it's about leadership. And as you're learning or as you're working, definitely you must have experienced being in this position of, being a team player or, working with a team. So let me get your experience. Oh, how has it been working with a team? How has it been learning about your courses or whatever? How has it been in general? Let me hear from you. Okay, well, First Lady Perry, yeah, she said it's been going smoothly. That's so lovely to hear. I'm glad that you're enjoying your stay here. Oh, okay, Amasha said it's been going well. That's amazing. I guess we're doing good. That means we're doing good. For me personally, it's been going good. It's been very insightful, very inspiring, and it's been an amazing journey. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey with Scouties. So, yeah, if you're just joining, I was asking, tell us a little bit experience. Tell us a little bit about your experience currently with Scouties. How has it been going for you? Because our topic today says Young Leaders Leadership Accelerator, and definitely you must have been in a position of working with a team, or if you're learning, how has it been, or what do you think? How has your journey been, basically? Yeah. Okay, what should I say? Learning has been amazing. Oh, I'm a little behind schedule, but I'm catching up. Oh, that's good. Well, good that it has been amazing, but it's behind, yes. So we want to hear from other people. I can see that more people have joined the live. Please let's hear from you. How has your time here with Scout has been? Um Okay, before I call in a guest speaker yet tonight, I want someone to tell me what do you think about the topic Young Leaders Leadership Accelerator? What do you think about it? What do you have to say about this topic if you're given? What do you have to say, or what do you think this topic is about? Hmm, I'm yet to get any response. One, two person. What do you think about Young Leaders Leadership Accelerator? Oh, nobody? Huh. Oh my god. Are we saying we're completely clueless on what the topic is? Well, that's not good, but anyways, that's why we have the the person here today to speak for us. So um I think he's having a little bit of network issues. So I'm just trying to motivate. So for tonight's session, we have a very interesting topic and a very interesting guest speaker tonight with us. And his name is please, I want to see the reactions in the comment section while I'm welcoming him. Please, please, and please, let's not dull the moment. Make use of your reactions, make use of your keyboards, make use of whatever you can make use of to welcome our guest speaker tonight. So I have in person Tolu Lopez Salami, popularly known as T.I. Olu. Is a dynamic young leader, public speaker, and law graduate of the University of Ibadan, recognized for his excellence in leadership, communication, and youth development. He currently leads the Greatness in Simplicity initiative, an NGO committed to driving social impact and empowering young people through leadership development advocacy and community based interventions. During his time at university, he served as president of the Great Independence Hall Literary and Debating Society, amongst other leadership positions in the faculty, church, faculty fellowship, the Fourth Institution, and so on. Tolulope's journey reflects a consistent commitment to growth, influence, and purpose driven leadership. Having evolved from a distinguished campus speaker and debater into a visionary leader, creating tangible impact beyond the university space, we have in person Tolulope Salami, who's going to be talking on Young Leaders Leadership Accelerator with us tonight. Welcome to Lulupe. We're so glad to have you here with us. Please, everybody, I want to see the reaction in the comment section as we welcome you.
Thank you so much, Aramide. Thank you so much. And if I may, yeah, I'm so sorry for the rescheduling and the delay that happened. A lot has been going on in the backstage. So, guys, I'm super happy to be here, and I will just go straight into it. So, I'm talking on leadership, and if I can have the luxury of speaking on three topics from now to the end of time, leadership would be one of the three, and it will definitely not be number three. So I'm very happy to talk on this topic, and I'm happy I'm talking to fellow young people like myself. So I'll just go straight into it. In my session tonight, I will give a very brief introduction, not so brief because it will be elaborate, and then I'll go on to talk on three or four major things. The first one will just be a call to action. Three major things after my introduction. And my introduction is basically understanding what leadership is, as well as starting with yourself. So I will talk on understanding what leadership is as a foundation for what I'm about to discuss. And you will start with yourself. Then I go straight into four things, like I said, and we'll call it a night. First, what is leadership? So I understand that usually you wouldn't be able to give a definition to what is practice. So you should still be able to have some key things that must be present before you can call something something. They call it definiendum and definite. So when we talk about leadership, we're talking about the combination of some factors like vision. Somebody has a vision. So let's say I say that in the next 10 years, I want to see this and this happen. That is a key part and indispensable part of leadership. Put it as option one. Number two, in leadership is I don't want to use the word lead, is direction. Now, I've said vision. So that vision might be a destination of some sort. So you now go straight or you go on that journey of achieving that vision. So that's the direction part. So that's like two factors I mentioned, having some sort of a pictured future and then the journey that goes to that future. So those are two things at the very least of what leadership would be. I would give strict definition of leadership from scholars, or maybe not just scholars, people that have lived leadership, and I'll give you my definition as well. But I need you to understand what leadership is. So when a leader, say you or even Tiolu, says that in the next 5 years, or I don't like how there are beggars on the street. I want to clear Lagos of every beggar in the next 10 years. That's the vision. Now, what are the steps I need to take? And I start saying, number one, I need to get a data of every, or rather, if not every, a very large number of the beggars on the streets. Then number two, I need to create jobs. Number three, I need to create an housing for them. All these things I'm talking about now, planning how to achieve that vision is leadership. That's not all. Then you now bring people around you. You are leading people in actualizing a certain goal. I've talked about the certain goal. I've talked about having the path, and then you're now leading people basically to achieve that thing. Those three things makes leadership. There is more. Trust me, there is more. A whole lot more. There is communication. How to say that this is the vision. This is what you want to do. Is part of leadership, and there is endurance. Things will not always go. I've not started. This is just my introduction. Please don't forget that things will not always go as planned. Blah blah blah. All those, they are part of leadership. Now, let me give you three definitions of leadership, and then I will point it to this foundation I'm trying to build. First, Dr. Miles Monroe says leadership. Let me just say it. He's late now, but I love him so much. He's one of my tier one mentor. He said leadership is you becoming the better version of yourself for the purpose of serving other people. So if leadership is you becoming the better version of yourself for the purpose of serving other people, then don't forget the service that you're rendering to other people. What happens after it is the vision. You becoming the better version of yourself, and that service is the direction. I hope you are getting it. And now, the process of developing yourself, the process of serving other people, is that third part that I talked about. The endurance, the perseverance, the staying on it until you see it happen. That's the question one. Let me say that again. Dr. Miles Monroe says leadership is becoming the better version of yourself for the purpose of serving other people. That struck me. I don't know why I never forgot. I think I read it in his book called The Leadership, Spirit of Leadership. The Spirit of Leadership. Number two definition, which I think is one of the most popular definition of leadership, is given by my mentor. Number two, or should I even say number one? Dr. Miles. Oh no, John C. Maxwell. I've read almost all of his books, and I intend to read the ones I've not read. And he says leadership is the art of knowing the way, going the way, and showing the way. So simply put, there's a way I've known, there's a possibility I've seen, and then I'm walking in that path. I'm pursuing that goal. And then number three, I am showing people how to go through it. You are leading people. You are changing the, let me call it status quo, not just with yourself, but with others. That's basically what define leadership to be. So I'll take it for the last time. Leadership is the art of knowing the way, going the way, and showing the way to others. Now, if you remember what I said earlier, there's a vision, there's you navigating that vision, and lastly, there's you going all the way out till you see it achieved. And allow me to say, someone said, if you think you are leading, but people are not following you, you are merely taking a stroll. So don't forget that leadership without followership is you taking a stroll. You are not a leader. So there has to be people that are learning from you, that are walking the journey with you. Now, when I said I want to start my introduction, I mentioned the fact that it will be starting with you, which will bring me to a concept called self-leadership. I was jokingly saying something one day, and I'll say it here. It says it's a disaster. It's like an epidemic that people start a relationship and they break it. Why? They will feel like that woman is problematic. I was like, oh my god, like I cannot picture the things that people don't worry, you get where I'm going. Why people just break relationship. If you cannot take your one woman and stay, you see divorce rates rising. How do you want to lead 10, 20, 50 millions of people as a leader? I don't want to go there yet. Maybe I will touch on it. But if the ability to people makes leadership is like public speaking. What I'm doing now makes absolutely no sense if there are no people listening to me, learning from me. If it's just me talking to myself, I'm doing a monologue or soliloquy, it's just useless. It's the same thing when you're trying to lead and you are not involving people or influencing people. Leadership is influence. I've not given my own definition, I'll give it. So I'm saying, let's start with you. Let's talk about you. Everything I've said now, let's bring it down to you before we now go out. You have to lead yourself to achieve goals. You have to be able to lead you and one person to achieve goals. Then you lead you and 20 people to achieve goals. Then you lead you and 50 people. Then you lead you and Nigeria. So it's a continuum. It's developmental. Never forget that. So, but it starts with you. So I want to say, would you say that you are leading yourself? Because is there a vision you set for yourself? Something you want to achieve for yourself? Something you have a path towards achieving, and something that you will stop at nothing to achieve? If those three things are not there, before we even talk about areas to do leadership, talking about leading others, which are my core aspect of this delivery, let's talk about leading yourself. That's the foundation, because I still believe that if you cannot lead yourself, you are not worth leading people. You are not worth being followed. So, two things will make you lead yourself. Two things. I want to categorize it broadly. There's a lot I could say about leading yourself, but I would just want to categorize it broadly to two things. Number one is self-discipline. Um, I lead people. I don't know if you listened to the Bible that was read, but the fact that um, I don't want to hurt their feelings sometimes make me tone down what I want to say to them. If people don't show up, for instance, it takes me a lot for me to be here. Like I just want to clear you. Like I must be here as a matter of must. Although there are some one or two things I could have done better, I want to acknowledge that. But the fact that I'm showing up, many things happened. I mean, if I had my way, I could have cleared tonight. Say I'm not going to have this session, but I showed up because of something. One of those things is self-discipline, which I think many of the people that are out there, let me not talk down on my leaders, I don't have. So when people don't show up, when you don't show up, it is usually a matter of self-discipline, and it is something you have to deal with. Please, to lead yourself is basically number one, self-discipline. I kid you not. It will take you a lot. It's never easy. My pastor says if anything is working, people or somebody is making it work. If your life will change, it is absolutely to a very large extent in your hands. See my hands, your life is in your hands. It takes self-discipline, it takes reduction of sleep, it takes reduction intentionality, which will lead me to the second thing, self-awareness. Self-awareness. I've talked about the fact that you must have a vision. I've talked about the fact that you must have endurance. I've talked about the fact that your vision will not just automatically come down. You've seen that future that comes to today. No, you will go through the process. So I don't want to go into those process. I don't want to have. I think I've done well talking about those because I have a lot of things about three things that I want to touch on really and talk practically with you. But please know that in this issue of leading yourself, the most important thing I believe is self-discipline. Kai, I think I'm too young. I'm not even 30 yet. I'm going to be in a couple of months, but I think I'm too young to give the examples that David Oyedepo will give or Daddy Gio and this lady. But it's just inevitable that as a leader that you are leading or you've led yourself to some extent that you will not have some track record. I mean, you will not even want to have them. They just happen. When I was in my father's house, our TV, our dining and sitting room is just a little bit demarcated. Like you could see the dining. I think that's what a contemporary Nigerian household looks like. And then I'll sit in the dining room reading. And then when I read, I started reading. I say I want to read some of books every year. I bought myself. Oh, I don't want to do that. So I want, and my daddy just looks at my siblings one day. He said, "Wait, do they pay this?" He pointed at me in the dining. He said, "Do they pay this boy to read the books he's reading? Because they are not law books. I'm a lawyer, but the books I'm talking about are not for law." So he just looked at me. I mean, I heard him. I pretended as if I didn't, and I continued my book. When I heard that, I was like, that's deep. So did they pay him? And it's not just that they saw that I'm reading that. So when others are watching TV laughing, you probably are reading. If you're a believer, you must read the Bible. If you are whatever you want to do, you have to immerse yourself in it. It's just as basic as that. It doesn't come easy. It will never come easy. It's just that it can become easier than it was when you started because taste is acquired. You want to start reading, pick the first book and read. You want to start having intentional conversation, add conversation, ask the very deep question. See somebody reply, say another person, and then that's how you start. Because if you are here, you are not having deep conversations like, why are we here? Conversations like, if I was not born a Christian, would I be a Christian? Conversations like, does Nigeria really have hope? Like those deep, if you're not having them, I don't like you. That's the first thing, like I said, discipline. So read those books fast. You will not die. My brother used to tell me something. Let me not criticize him here. He would say that those early morning programs we used to go to in church is just not his thing. You can go for videos. You see, for us to wake up by 5:30 and be going for it, like, no. It's laziness. But when he tells me that some people fasting is easy for them, no. I want to focus on you now. Please lead yourself and do those things that ought to be done. I remember a time that I will always sleep on mat. We have about 5 beds in my house. I sleep on mat. I don't know why too. I just realized that the demands of that time requires me not to be so comfortable, such that I forgot that there are things to do. So I subjected myself to those things. So self-discipline, that's one. Number two, like I said, is self-awareness. Um, we are not on the same path. We will not necessarily read the same set of books, do the same set of things. However, for where you are going, you have to constantly be aware of what is needed. And that brings me to what I call evaluation. Evaluation. One of the things I've said over and over that I believe is not well taught enough in our world is the art of sitting down and putting pen to paper, not just to set goals for the future, but to examine how far you've gone, what you are doing wrong, what you can do better. Because a life that is not evaluated is not worth living at all. Just die. I believe that. I'm sorry if I sound harsh, but if you are not evaluating your life, like, what's the essence? Like, genuinely, regardless of your age, you're not putting pen to paper. You are not. Another word after examination is evaluating. Yes, evaluating, examining your life. Put it down. Be aware. For instance, let me not go deep. You to just examine. Are you doing well? What should you stop? Use the tools available. Use people. Yes, let me say this. I think I'm done with my introduction at this point. One thing I do over and over that I think you want to do as well is to reach out to people that are your closest friends or people you know we have information about you. Tell them that I know I'm doing well. If you are watching this, especially to this point, you are definitely one of the few people that have sense. That's the word I use. You have sense. However, there is more sense you need to have. Yeah, the goal is not just to be good; is to be better. Hence, you need to get better and just do things. Put in the effort. You might want to tell them that, hello, I want to be a better person and I need help. So what are those two or three things you think I should stop doing or I should start doing that will make me a better person? Please be unapologetic about it. I promise to take it beautifully. I promise not to take offense, be raw, blah blah blah. Say those things. I'm expecting your response. Don't worry, be prompt and be spontaneous. The fact that it comes to your mind now means that it is actually urgent and I don't know. You don't know your weaknesses. You might not necessarily know most of them, but people around you, they've figured it and they're looking for an opportunity to tell you. So give them that opportunity by showing that you are self-aware, you are aware that there are things you need to do better, and they will help you. Having said that, leadership is the ability to set a goal, a vision. Leadership is the ability to communicate it to other people and walk through the process. And leadership is staying on that journey till you achieve it. And I think I might want to take 1 minute before I now pause to explain why leadership is not management. At this point, I need you to ruminate in your head. What would be the difference between leadership and management before I answer it? Take a pause. Try to answer. All right, let me make it simple for you. If after now you've had it, you've forgotten, or you've never learned it, leadership is changing the status quo. Management is managing or retaining the status quo. Management is let's say manager is there, make sure that things are well done, things don't spoil. But that's not leadership. Leadership is changing, let's achieve something else. So leadership requires critical thinking, requires initiative, requires change, but management is just maintain things. Koma budget. You get what I'm saying? So that's the difference between leadership and management. So usually HR will do management, the CEO will do leadership. Does that make sense? So I think I'll move on. So I have, like I said, I have three things I will talk about. And because I'm talking to young people, I will talk about why you should start leading now. Why young people should start leading now. Number two, I will talk about how to deal with the cons of leadership. I'll give you one or two of the cons and I'll tell you how to deal with it because there is no good thing that doesn't come with its own con. Yeah, with every positive is a negative. And number three, I will talk about how to lead people that are older than you. Because I know I don't have much time, I'll just try them one after the other and we move. Number one is why you should start leading now. I have three reasons I believe you should be more intentional about your leadership. I should be more intentional about my leadership right now. Like now, you can't wait. Number one is life is judged based on impact much more than it is judged based on age. I call it impact over age, responsibility over status. It is sad that we attribute honor to age in this part of the world. We attribute respect. And there's a verse in the Bible I love where I think it was Elihu that was talking. I said he thought length of time, age would give you wisdom. But if you realize that that's not the reality, and that's actually still the same thing in this world. Just 2 days ago, I was praying, and then I said these words. Let me just clear you. I didn't know I was going to have this session. I've been invited a long time ago, but somehow my VA did not send a reminder to me and genuinely it skipped my mind. But this thing I'm telling you was 2 days ago when I was praying, just about this time, 8 to 9. And then I thought about it. I had a friend, she was 22. She passed on, by the way, at 22. Was at 19 years old. It was Corona year that year when she was 19. This friend of mine was organizing food drive for old people, and national televisions were broadcasting it. This girl was 19 as at that point. That was 3 years before she passed on. So before then, she had the foundation that I'm a volunteer at. Just imagine. I'm the senior. She calls me senior to look for crying out loud. Nonetheless, she has a foundation that as a corona period when things were bad, this girl just, I mean, I don't care how old you are. If you are not doing something that is more than you are not living yet. You are better off not giving birth to. I'm genuinely, I mean, all you've come to do is just to eat, occupy space, wear clothes, and go back. Nah, no matter how long your life is close to useless. So this girl had responsibility. This girl had impact, not just age. I mean, died at 22. I don't want to, of course, I'm close to 30, like I told you. I don't want anybody to die young. But she has 2 books to herself, a spoken word video that I watched. She probably had more interview sessions with big men. I'm telling you now, that it is more of impact. I mean, I have mentees now that are young. And when I was in UI, I was quite older than most of my mates. You can imagine I finished in 2024. This is 2026. So remove 2 years from my means I finished at 28. I was old. But I had a 22-year-old mentee that was student union presidency. Think about it. So it's not about age. Sometimes experience matters, and I'm not going to throw that away. I see some people now that they are well read, well exposed, but that maturity factor is absolutely missing. I'm never going to deny that fact. But when it comes to leadership, we judge impact, we judge doings, we judge vision, we judge actions much more than we judge age, much more than we judge experience, because you might be experiencing something without evaluating and getting better. Baba, get out, show us results. So I'm saying it now. The reason you have to start now is because there is no age range. The same thing, God is a God of principles, not of age. If you could work with Abraham at 75, you could work with Asha at 8 years if you have sense and you submit yourself to the principles. So it is impact over age. It is responsibility over status. I hope that is clear enough. That's number one reason why you should start leading now. Number two reason is the earlier you start, the more the opportunities. The earlier you start, the more the opportunities. The earlier you start, the more the opportunities. It's very basic. Um, just imagine you getting a beautiful car at 81. Your strength will fail you. It's not a course. But if you start agile, you get to, I don't want to jump into my next point. You get to meet people earlier. You get to know things better. Because that time you will spend there's something we call goodwill in law. It's an asset. If I start something, that's why you see people categorically and boldly write established since so, started since so. So if you wait to start at 80 and you die at 100, that's 20 years. But imagine you start at 20, that's 80 years of great impact, and you get better over the time. So you are susceptible to more opportunities. I hope you understand that. So the earlier you start, the better. Listen up. You would nobody ever has it perfectly figured out when they're starting. If they have it beautifully figured out and they start well, trust me, what the future always is still better than that. Because they will still make mistakes, they will still fall and get back and learn things and do it better and better. So you have to start now, because the earlier you start, the better the opportunities that will come your way, and you maximize them and achieve better results. So number one, I said impact over age, responsibility over status. Number two, I said you need to start early because it increases your chances of getting opportunities. And I go to number three, which I love. That's why I said I want to jump. If you start early, you get your experiences early. You get to make your mistakes early and you get to correct them. One of the popular sayings that people say experience is the best teacher. I do not subscribe to it. I believe that evaluated experience is the best teacher. So what this means is, now that I have a session, that's never happened by the way, and my VA did not put it in my calendar, she didn't reach out to me, She didn't, until this afternoon, and I was far away. Before I get back home, I was considering going to a particular place to settle, which shouldn't happen. I mean, I wrote a to-do list yesterday that I was focusing on. Today, Sunday, I don't usually write it because I know what I have to do after church. I came back from church late. Now that has happened. Never again would I have a meeting and at the point of accepting and confirming that I have a session that I will not put it in my calendar, because I'm the one that always preach maximizing the available resources. So now it has happened now. If I have not started speaking or not psyching myself out, I probably will learn that later. Probably will learn it when there is bastard money involved and it will affect me. So learn your mistakes early. Get those experiences early, because the more you have those quote and unquote bad and good experience, the more you put them in your pocket and become a better person. We all are a result of our experiences. So if you start early, you will be able to one, have more impact, you'll be able to two, get more opportunities, and three, you'll be able to get your experiences, make your mistakes, and be a better person. Number two thing I have to say is how to deal with the cons of leadership. Leadership comes with its cons. Leadership comes with, like I said, almost everything good comes with some forms of negatives that has to be managed. And one, which I think I'll just talk about in leadership, is criticism. You will be criticized, you'll be publicly judged. Kai, let me tell you, but I've always heard people talk about people, they will talk about you. This one happened to me in my presence. I was in the faculty of law, I was in the restroom in the faculty of law that year, and I wanted to run for student union presidency. I was a Christian, close to naive. I wouldn't call myself naive because I was so convinced, yeah. And I was bold. I know about leadership. I've read books. I've led people. I've done things. But people were talking. Four boys were talking about me behind the window of the restroom, and I was there. And they were saying, this one said his own, that one said his own, the other one said his own. Well, none of them said something good though. But one was the chief and just says a lot. I was like, oh my god. Now imagine how many places they were talking about me like that. It was new to me. I mean, very new. People talk about me, they will send me screenshots. That one is not new. But the fact that people sat down and you were the topic they were talking about and you could hear them, it did something to me. I mean, I was shaving my people that were like, "Ah, how many people are talking about me?" Then I got to think about it and then I just swept it away because it is inevitable. You are a leader. They will talk about you. It is, let me say it again. It is inevitable. You need to understand the fact that judgment is inevitable. Please don't forget that. Judgment will usually come from yourself. If you'll be critical of yourself. um I don't want to touch it. So you criticize yourself, your friends will criticize you, your peers will criticize you, and it is not good. The world will criticize you. However, there's a way to deal with it. So that's why I say dealing with the cons of leadership. If you are not known, you won't be talked about. Basic. The moment you are known, the moment you're in the public eye, you will become the object of their discussion. So know that and know peace. So let me talk about how to deal with self-criticism. When it is coming from yourself, I tell people a lot, please give yourself grace. Young leaders, please give yourself grace. I believe that there's nothing you have that you did not receive. I think this is the part I should talk about. Perhaps the most important lesson I wish I could share to the world right now is the problem of comparison. Um, there are two sides to comparison. You probably have heard people say, don't compare yourself with other people, don't compare yourself with, they don't elaborate it enough for you to know how grievous it is. It doesn't end well. It never ends well. There are two ways you can compare yourself with people. Number one, you can compare yourself with people that you are seemingly, or let me use the word, obviously better than. And that will lead you to pride. You will say, what is it doing? Because you feel like you're better, perhaps in speaking, in money, in looks, in academics, in smartness, in anything at all, you seem to be better. Don't compare yourself. When the temptation comes, dead it. Because you will end up in pride. Number two, you tend to compare yourself with people that are doing better than you. Perhaps someone has founded something that you founded as well, and they seem to be going spiral up, and you seem to be on it. Don't compare it. What you want to do is sit down and evaluate yourself, because there's this the part of mercy in this thing. We receive things that we were given. You can know of yourself do something. So what that second one will do to you, compare yourself to people that are seemingly better than you, it will lead to low self-esteem. It will lead to despair in your heart, and you don't want to be there as well. You don't want to compare yourself to people that are better than you, people that are seemingly better than. Life is not a competition. I promise you it isn't. So please don't be too critical of yourself. Don't judge yourself. I mean, people, I'm just telling you that the temptation will come, but it is your responsibility to kill it. It is that thing that you don't want to be in yourself. You don't want it. It's never good. The temptation will come. Even I judge myself. There was a day an award was given to somebody that I was obviously the winner. I mean, sorry about that. I wasn't the winner, of course, but I thought I would win. And I hated awards. I didn't hate awards. I heard that from God that I should not look at them, that I shouldn't, because if it starts you, it never ends. And then I had won two awards that I didn't label for any award. Even if they nominate me, I will not publicize and say people should vote and all sorts. But I won them still because I was obviously arguably the most popular person in school, arguably the most loved person, impactful, blah blah blah. And then they gave me these two awards. And then there was a smaller one. Imagine me winning student union finalist of the year in all of UI. And then there was one finalist of the year, my faculty. I was not nominated. It's not just, and they gave someone else. I was like, now, why would they win it? For the first time in my life, it was at that point of saying that, I'm like, oh my God, what is happening to me? I'm so sorry, Holy Spirit, blah, blah, blah. Because I had subconsciously felt like I was a better person than the two people that were also nominated with me. You don't want to be that. Because, like it or not, there will always be till the end of time people that are doing more than you are doing. They have more advantages. They started early. They had more friends. Blah blah blah. The same thing with the people that are better than. Some people are my age. They don't even know what school is. Let alone doing things. Let alone impacting others. So just make sure that you are becoming a better version of yourself, not to compete with a friend of yours or somebody you don't know. Please, it never ends well. All right, so what brought me here is to say don't criticize yourself, give yourself grace. With time, it will come. Wait for it. I'm rooting for you, and I'm telling you genuinely, if you keep at what you're doing and you are diligent, please put this there, prayerful. Because one thing I learned when I realized, I mean, I had about 200 people almost asking the same thing. What do they do to become this, to do this? God said, in my attempt at telling them the principles like diligence, like integrity, I should never forget the fact that within 2 months, I went from number four, number three in the list of candidates to number one, and everybody was just calling my name. Something happened that is not normal. Yes, that's God. Never, don't you ever. He told me, don't you ever throw it away while telling people principles. So, I, do more with God and trust Him to do so much with you. So don't compare yourself. Don't criticize yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. And then criticism from other people. Like I said, it is inevitable that you'll be criticized from other people. So I want you to deal with it with two ways. Number one, um, for instance, all through UI, I was not criticized because there was not so much to criticize about. Or let me say there was absolutely nothing. I didn't tell a lie. I was single throughout. I'm still okay, they didn't ask me. I'm just saying that there are things that people would naturally talk about and they will have points against you. The Bible says of many people in the scriptures that there was nothing. They sought for things against them, there was none. So I wrote here that you should act from conviction. I could spend the whole session on talking about conviction. So Jesus was questioned by many people, but nobody could bring anything evil that he actually did. Not one. The same thing for Daniel. He sat four pagan kings and they could not find you don't understand what it means to be in politics and they couldn't find one thing against you. It's conviction. Like everything I'm saying now, I could back it up with my actions, I could back it up with my words, I could just be able to defend everything you are saying. God told me one day that what I'm saying on stage, what I'm saying, I used to do poetry a lot when I was in school. What I'm saying on, I used to have, I had the blog. What I'm saying with my conversations and what I'm living should be the same thing. So he said, be the same person on stage, online, and in your private. Omo, that is life with peace. That is life with everything you are saying and everything you are doing. You are doing it from conviction. That's how to avoid. If it, the best way to avoid falling into pitfall is to not dig something for yourself. So don't give them the opportunity. Don't let there be something to fall into. I mean, I don't even know. Let me go practical. One of the things that will bring you, one of the things that bring people down is money, opposite sex, and pride, basically, most times. And now you need to deal with those things. Be convinced in the things we're talking about. I told somebody that I ran for student presidency and I didn't kiss a girl. Someone said, is it a big deal? Like, wow. I said, it's a big deal. Oh, I will not go there. So it's not that I was not even tempted for crying out loud. That's just one side. On the other side, they gave me beer. Literally, thank God for people know. Someone said, He said, Pastor, I will not take it. I will not take I was like, thank you. There were many. You might think it's not deep, but imagine people that are supporting me for my house, independence or there were many, and I just couldn't take it. I'm so sorry. If you are going to support me. If not, you can go home. And the other part, money. Hmm, seller. So please be convinced of every action. Be one. Integrity is very key. So be very convinced of the actions. It tends to help you not to dig a hole for yourself, such that you fall. And number two, you are not perfect. You will still do things wrongly. So please be quick to take corrections. When the constructive criticism come, even if it is not constructive, but you've seen that something is wrong, take that feedback and work on it. Like I said, experience that is evaluated is the best data. You tend to become a better person. And especially if that criticism is coming from someone that definitely loves you. Bro, don't think they hate you. Just take it. Taking from experience, just take it. Yeah, I think that was it. So, like I said, act with conviction. You reduce the number of things they can say against you. Hi, you know, it's a you will talk about you, yeah, but let it be such that if you are there, you can defend everything they are saying. If you steal money, what do you want to say? Had a fellow executive ones that said in Yoruba, "Ibi ta tin ṣe la tin jẹ," that we should be taking money where we are living. I said, when we were campaigning, did we tell people we are going to take their money? Did we say that? If we didn't say it, you know that it is work you want to go and work. Then you don't have any right to take money. If we fought to, I was even more stressed because I was general secretary then. And I didn't take any money because I didn't tell them I was going to. But he kept on. So he went up to do another thing, started taking money. Please don't help yourself. Another one was when there was a scandal that I lied and I was not online. Meanwhile, it was the press that wrote rubbish. I was calm. Calls were coming in, but I didn't know because I was doing something. When I saw it like this, I was still joking on the call with the person that called me. I said, nothing, no, there's nothing funny here. Things are spoiled. Pops, why would you lie? I didn't lie. And then I saw the news. I was like, I just had to go to my status and debunk it. And everywhere scattered before I knew. And then I just came back and I'd be like, people started making the press had to write another release correcting themselves. You can do without lying. That's what I'm saying. Please ask for conviction at all times. And number two, when the correction comes, don't be too quick to defend yourself. Be intentional. Act on the inside out. Don't react. Take it in. You get what I'm saying? And then the third thing I want to talk about, the first one, like I said, is that you have to start leading now. And I said there are three reasons. Number one, because life is not based on age. You can be young and do great things. Number two, you um get your opportunities, access to opportunities on time. And number three, you get to experience those things and make amends and become a better person to become the best version of yourself. And number two, I talked about dealing with the cons of leadership. I mean, by exposing yourself, I mean, by taking the lead, you will get feedbacks a lot from yourself. You get to judge yourself sometimes. You get public judgment, especially criticism left, right, and center. And I said to avoid that. Number one, don't give them reasons to talk about you. Avoid the pitfalls by acting from convictions. What are the life principles you want to live by? Subject yourself to them, submit yourself to them diligently. That idea, know those things, get them inside yourself, and you will reduce the number of talks they would have about you. And number two, I said take corrections. When those things come, don't be eager. For instance, about let me not cut it down, maybe 10 years ago, many people said I was talking too much. I hated it because, in my opinion, I wasn't talking too much. But they insisted that I was. I mean, I fought the word for it. About three people. Later, I realized that if two, three people are saying the same thing, they don't hate me. I have to calm down. So I intentionally reduced my words. I mean, I fasted and prayed, guys. Take corrections. They say Arami Upale. In English, that means that you're not too calm. That means you need calmness. Take corrections, guys. Please take it. In case, as I'm talking now, there's something in you that people have said you need to do better. Do better. Is for yourself. And like I said earlier, when I was talking about self-management and I talked about evaluation, I even told you that take it a notch higher. Tell people to tell you the things you should get. See, if you can build soft skills such that nothing gets you, you will need it to just do silve it and take the ones you need to get better at. Please. This is leadership and this is the core part of it. Let me not just give you now. Let's talk about process. I can give you if you want to lead yourself, I can give you 10 things that start with P as I'm talking to you now, that start with M, that start with C, and I will start cutting them down. We try to use these key things to talk about this leadership to you in this accelerator. Your talk. Please subject yourself to examination, evaluation. And the last thing that I brought to the table tonight is how to lead people that are young, older than you. I'm talking to young leaders, and it is inevitable that if you really want to make progress, you will find yourself at one point or the other leading people that are older than you are. That I would like to recommend a book to you. The book is called 360 Degree Leadership. 360-degree leadership. So first thing first, someone is older than you and they are under your leadership. There is a little bit of, how do I say it now, low self-esteem they tend to have. You have to be aware that these people are older than I am. So regardless of how far you are in the stratification or the hierarchy, I want you to always be humble. So let me say this. Maybe this is the only thing I will say because I'm looking at my time. Humility is not follow come. I'll say it again. You are not naturally humble. You have to be humble. You have to bring yourself down by experience, by guts, by competence. You have found yourself above people. Then you have to, by intentionality, bring yourself down. In fact, do it to all men, people that are older than self, but much more to the people that are older than you. When I was youth president in my church, I was teaching married people about marriage. You will not understand because I was taking Sunday school and I had about 40 people right in front of me, and as I finished praying, as I started, I said, the Holy Spirit told me that some of you are saying, why is a single person taking Sunday school? Can I see your hand up? Come and see how many people raised their hand. I just laughed. And then I said, Jesus, Paul, and most of the people that talk about marriage in the Bible, we're not married. So I'm just saying that it's inevitable with the way we are going, with the things that they've left undone that we are putting ourselves into, we will find ourselves leading them. And in fact, you now will find yourself leading people like that already. First thing first, be humble. Please be humble. Deal with them with humility. I would say it over and over. Humility is not follow come. Let me even clear it for you. If you are competent, you would shift to a level called self-confidence because you are good at what you are doing. I can talk. I mean, without much preparation, give me impromptu, I'll be boss. So because of that, somebody that cannot do public speaking, there's something called biases, like public speaking bias, like I'm doing now, or leadership bias because I lead. If I see somebody that is not taking their role well, they're not maximizing their position, they are not leading well, I tend to just without knowing naturally, I just judge them, not judging that go to hell. I mean, well, this person could have done better because I know how to do it. So the same thing with leadership, the same thing with public speaking, because I talk well. If I see somebody that is not increasing their voice, reducing their voice, that's not structured in their talk, I just, oh my god, this person could have done better. Should have taken a pause there. That's what I call bias. Now, because of that competence, because of that self-confidence, like it or not, you will tilt towards pride. In unintentionally, inadvertently, accidentally, all those really that means that you are not doing it intentionally. I'm telling you guys, I've been there. Unless people will not tell the truth. In fact, you might have been there. So please don't assume that you will be naturally confident unless or you naturally humble, pardon, unless you are not confident at all. If you are confident in what you're doing and you're getting better, pride will come one day. You will think you are better than other people. So then please be humble, not by default, but by intentionally putting. The Bible says that God brings humble people to himself. So if you believe that God brings humble people to himself, bring themselves down. So please, when you are dealing with people that are older than you, things that you are humble. Maybe I can touch on. Okay, I'm back. So apart from humility, I think you should nuances around them. I will touch on one or two, like I said. Nuances meaning you should be able to. It depends on the kind of leadership you're doing. So, for instance, if it is I'm a youth president, yeah, and oops, my light has gone off. One second, please. Just manage me like this.
I think network.
Okay, can I go on?
Yes, you can go on. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. So I said you need to check the nuances. For instance, if in the delegation of your duty to them, let's say I'm the president, like I said, You should know what this person is good at, and be there's something customize what you want to delegate with them. For instance, when I became youth president, for UI, my pastor believed that I would lead the youth church, and then he placed me as the president. Then I said, they had an existing executive, so I just became president. Then I said, would you please send me your goals? In fact, I sent them a template. How your this thing has been. Please watch what I said, how their respective directorate has been. Number two, their plans and how far they have achieved. Number three, their plans for the future, then strength and weaknesses. And then I told them to send it in a Word document. Somebody had never created a document in their life, and they are old. Now, in that instance, apart from humility, I just need to, what I did was I told her that, is your phone there? So I'm going to call you on WhatsApp and we'll be communicating while you do those things. Basic. I mean, if humility is already there, then you know how to manage circumstances. They call it, I don't know the exact word I want to use now. They call it oh, yes, tailor-made decisions. You have to make situation specific, exactly. Situation specific steps. So I called her, told her to go to Play Store, told her to download Google Doc. I said, type it. Have you seen it? Something blue that has some stripes. Download it. Now open it. It will tell you to log in your details. Just click continue with Google. Now press plus. Literally, I can remember what I was saying. And she was saying it. Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it. Now press new space. Now start typing. Now, I had already created a template. I just told her to go there, click it, and create new or something like that. Now, like I told you earlier, that you are above them because of one of these factors. Number one, maybe you are more competent. You understand what I'm saying? So, because of that competence that they don't have, you bring it to them to the extent that they need it. You don't judge people, respect people. People will respect you. People love young people that are taking responsibilities, and if by chance they find themselves under you, so far you are not proud, they would really learn. They would submit themselves to you. When people say respect is reciprocal, they were not joking. So respect is actually reciprocal. So give them situation specific things. I hope that's clear enough. So number one, I said you should be humble. Number two, situation specific decisions. Please, it's very key. Very key. Please, let me also say this from experience. When something goes wrong, be quick to see what you've done wrong before what they did wrong. Let me just clear that statement. Be quick to take the blame before them. It's a privilege. Trust me. So the last thing I want to talk about, I think my time is about to be done. I want to talk about the practical spaces which you most likely would have found yourself already. Practical spaces where you can do this leadership thing we are talking about. I'll just mention four that, like I said, you probably have found yourself in them. One is social impact. I am so given to social impact. Where I do my leadership, apart from the fact that I get appointed in roles, I get invited to come and be a part of this person's new project because of experience and all. Social impact. Do things, cause change, organize something to do this, join the SDG drives and all. I lead an organization called Greatness and Simplicity. Volunteer, that's what I'm trying to say. Leadership is service. So that service can be in form of volunteering for a cause that is bigger than you. You don't have to be the founder. And if you are maybe intuitive enough, you have initiative enough to join forces with one or two persons and start, you can do that as well. That's one. Number two is the media. The media is that space where creativity thrives. Songs, pictures. There's a lot. There's a lot. All forms of artistry. Just make sure that you immerse yourself, like I said, in a better future than what is now, and then get better in that thing. Push yourself, push yourself, push yourself, drive people along. The media is available for you to explore. That's the media. Maybe a songwriter, that's the media. Maybe you do poetry, you do movies, you write scripts. Please get better at it. And number three, I've talked about the media, I've talked about social impact. Let me talk about technology. Yes, I think that is one that if you're not doing one right now, you might want to look for one to lay your hand on. There are many options. Me now, don't be like me, I'm lazy. After I one, I feel like this one is too much, or because I'm still doing so much academic work and I want to focus and I'm doing talks. But either way, you don't have any skills. There are a lot of tech skills you can learn and become a master at it early. we have the advantage of exposure because of our young age. Because our parents now, it is well, it's harder for them to learn than it is for us. And let me give the last one: education. You don't need to, I mean, because of our exposure, like I just said now, and our young age, we tend to learn better. And because we've learned, we tend to impart knowledge much more than the older generation would. So these four spaces are just four out of the available options you can explore. That is if you've not even started. And if you've started, please get better at it. Get better at it. Read up much more. There's more to know. If you have not immersed yourself in knowledge, you are not doing leadership well. I bet you. There's a book I want to recommend for my volunteers in my firm. I mean, that's just in my firm. In my organization, I serve as the lead volunteer. It's called the 10 times rule. The 10, 1 0, and a big X. 10 times rule. Yes, so it's basically the book will teach you how to do something massively and to do it immediately. So seek knowledge now, seek knowledge massively. Take the step now, take the step to the biggest possible way. Please, you need it. And I think that brings us to the end of my session. And just to be um, holistic, I'd like to wrap it up again by saying that leadership is the art of knowing the way, going the way, and showing the way. And it starts with yourself. So you have to understand what we are talking about when we are talking about leadership, such that you live it and it becomes a part of you that you judge other people subconsciously. I call leadership bias. And then I talked about why you should start doing your leadership now. Why you should start doing your leadership now. Then I talked about there you would get experience on time and you get to implement those experiences, you get opportunities on time, and life is based on impact and not status, not age, responsibility. And also I moved to the cons of leadership. Leadership comes with some cons. You cannot do anything anyhow. You cannot start dressing anyhow. You cannot go anywhere. You'll be judged. And I majored on that one. And I said, you can judge yourself. So please be easy on yourself. Other people will judge you. Don't let what they are saying get to you. And there are two ways to that. Number one, act from conviction. Reduce the amount of words that will get to you because you don't tell lies, because you don't take money, because you are not proud, because you are not talkative like some people. So people would have less things to talk about. And number two, I said you should take corrections. Be intentional. When people are giving feedback, submit yourself. Don't be proud about it. And then lastly, or penultimately, I talked about how to deal with those cons. I talked about leading other people, leading people that are older than you. I majored on humility. Please be humble, guys. I beg you, be humble. And when it comes to solving problems, know that for each person that you are leading that is older than you, you have to be careful with them. So I call it situation specific decisions with them. You will know. Bring yourself down, and the best way to deal with them will come to you. And lastly, I give areas where you can practically demonstrate your leadership, including the media, including education, social impact, and technology. And that brings us to the end yet again. Thank you so much, Ayomide, and thank you to the Scoutist team. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tolu. This was it was an amazing session, honestly, and we're so glad that you accepted our invitation. I am very sure that everybody picked a lot of things from what you said, and I could relate to a lot of things because I also did politics in school, and I ran a secgen also.
Wow.
So yeah, I could relate to a lot of things
Wow.
that you were mentioning. I did SecGen in my department and in the national level, so it was a lot when it
Wow.
comes to
Awesome.
politics, and I could relate a lot to a lot of things that you talked about. And in fact, I learned a lot, and I believe that a lot of other persons must have learned a lot of things as well. And every time I have a session, I always take my notes, and I've written so many things that you mentioned today. And I'm glad that you were part of our session tonight. And before we wrap up in a few minutes, please, if you have any questions that you would like to ask, please ask your question now before Mr. Tolu leaves the call, leaves the meeting. Please ask your questions now while we just give like about 2 minutes to people to ask their question. I would just like to highlight some of the things that I personally learned from what you said tonight. And we talked about the fact that leadership is different from management. I really liked your perspective on that. I feel like it's something I've never really sat down to think about, and it's really it's another perspective that I feel like everybody should actually think about. It's very amazing. You said people will always talk about you. Oh God, it is legit. people will always criticize, people will always have something to say, but it just depends on how you accept those words or the reports you hear
Yeah.
from outside, and how you allow it to influence you. That's just the basic thing. And you said don't compare yourself. I feel like that's very, very amazing to say, because one of the things we'll end up struggling with, especially as a young leader, is you get to a stage where is either you become prideful or you start comparing yourself. It's always one of the two. So it's something that we have to create a balance between, and try to avoid overdoing things at that point. Yes, please, if you have a question, please drop your question in the comment section so that I could read it out loud. Mm. Okay, we're having some reactions for you, Mr. Tolu. I'm sure everybody learned something. Please, if you learned something tonight, let me see you in the comment section that you've learned something tonight. Yeah. You also talked about convention. I feel like, oh my God, I really learned a lot when you talked about convention, staying true to yourself, staying having a principle that you stick to. It's always very important in leadership, because it can get overwhelming to the extent that you start to deviate, or you start getting influenced by things that you're not supposed to. Yeah, I think that's very good. And then
Exactly.
leading people that are older than you. I am currently in that situation, and I was so excited when I heard you say that you were going to talk about that, because it's a very the kind of difficult stage. You don't want to do
Yeah, it is.
something
Very,
offending, at the same time you want to lead them. Actually, you want to correct them, but you don't want to correct them rudely. It's just so difficult to balance. But yeah, I've picked a lot of things I'm going to implement into it and try to see the result I get from it. So we have one question in the comment section right now. It says, "Thank you so much for this session. My question is, if leadership is about change, wouldn't this change need management sometimes?"
awesome. If leadership is about change, wouldn't this change need management sometimes? So sometimes last year, there's this thing called GTP that we run in my organization. It's called Greatness Toolkit. When we wanted to have a session on leadership, it's just one out of the many sessions. We joined it with management. We said leadership and management is like a dance, like a tango. It goes hand in hand. If you want to have an argument, let's assume that it's an argument we're having. The first thing, the key thing in an argument is understanding of terms. Let's understand what we are driving at. First of all, what leadership is. Second, what management is in the concept of change. You're saying now that at a point or at a particular point, my leadership would need management for me to achieve change. Now the question is, what's the what's management? So I'll just give a very short recap, especially considering that I've elaborated on it earlier. I believe that leadership is, without any gainsaying, inclusive of management, but it's management without necessarily leadership. Let me say it that way. Key terms. Management is me saying that, guys, let's ensure that this session doesn't go off. Let's ensure, guys, so if this light that is in front of me goes off, there's something here, and our meeting must be on call, you guys must be on call. Do you need data? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just maintaining the status quo. A leader must do that. Because if I come on board and I say, I want to be the leader of the five of us that are involved in this thing happening now, or I don't know the number of people listening or watching at the same time. If I say I want to be the head, and I imagine if people start logging out, or I immediately goes off, or I go off and things get spoiled, that's not leadership. In fact, I've not just failed in leading, I've failed in managing. So usually management, if I want to judge management, I won't judge the new structures that are brought up. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I won't judge advancement, basically. I would only judge vis-a-vis where we were to where we are. I would say, are you able to maintain what we had before now? But a leader doesn't just wait at maintenance. A leader advances. So now, whenever the option of change comes in, you have deviated from management, you have gone to leadership. So let me just give you a clear-cut answer so that it will clear your head. Leadership, management plus change. Or should I say, leadership is management plus positive change. Is get that so that we will not just talk and just bamboozle the answer. The reason I say that is leadership is me maintaining the status quo, which I think is my definition of management, making sure things do not get worse, and then equally bringing in things that will make things better. That's where initiative comes in. That's where critical thinking comes in. That's where vision, which is the most important factor of leadership, in my opinion, comes in. Now, I say, I have a better idea. Before tomorrow, we must be 200. Now, how do we do that? If I say before tomorrow, we must be 200, that means that the number we have now must be retained first. Then we'll now see what we can do to do better. That's no longer, that's management, one plus pay. So leadership is not just management. It includes management, but it's bringing something much more, something an addition to make it leadership. I hope that's very clear. So, of course, you can argue, and basically, it's not usually theoretical. These are just semantics we are putting to um, count our words and give meaning to what we are saying. But basically, when we talk management, in my opinion, and from the books I've read, I realized that you don't want things to spoil. Manage budget, that's management. Just to maintain the status quo. Then how there's change, positive change, oh, please, oh, and not those change from ABC. If there's change and there's vision and all sorts, then you're not tilting towards leadership. You are maximizing people. You are bringing the better version of them out. You are saving more goals. That's where leadership comes in. So don't forget my definition. I was able to catch out something now when I said leadership is management plus positive changes. If management comes in contact with positive changes, then you will have better results. It's inevitable. And don't forget that definition of Dr. Miles Morrow, that leadership is you becoming a better version of yourself for the purpose of serving people better. Now, if I don't serve people better, if there's no service, if there's no influence, and I'm just maintaining the status quo, everybody sit down, don't say anything, and I'm a teacher with pain in my hand. That's management. If you stand up, but the moment I say everybody stand up, let's learn something. What is A for apple? What is B for something? Then I'm leading them. I hope that's clear enough. And if you have a, should I say, derivative question from what I just said, I ask for, to the best of my knowledge right now, I would say that faith comes in management to results to leadership. I hope that's clear. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much for that answer. I feel like it has answered that question because she's saying I have learned a lot too. So I believe that that must have answered the question. Thank you so much. If you have any other question, please ask now. Yes, say yes. I understand. So I appreciate it. So that has answered that question. If you have any question, please ask now. If you don't, please send a reaction in the comment section so that I know you don't have a question. And please let's not forget to follow or connect with Mr. Tolu on Instagram and Twitter at Toluwa_Lope and on LinkedIn at Tolu Lopez Salami. Thank you very much. We are always be free to connect with him, follow him, and keep looking at his content for more wisdom in various aspects, I believe. And thank you very very much, Selua, for joining our session tonight. It was
Much more
a
for the invite.
very yeah, it's a very very amazing session. We're so happy to have you. We're so happy to learn from you, to gain from your wisdom, and we're so happy that you accepted our invitation. Um, I don't know. I don't think there's any other question so far. So we have to also call it a wrap. So thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate you and thank you for being part of our meeting tonight. So yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy.
All right. Good night. Have a lovely night. All right. Thank you, everybody, once again for joining the live session tonight. It was an amazing time, and I believe we've all learned one or two things on Young Leaders Leadership Accelerator. And don't forget to like and subscribe at Scottish Creative Solutions YouTube page, on LinkedIn, and every of our other social media handles. Um, and stay tuned for our other sessions coming up. And thank you very, very much for joining. Have a good night and have a lovely night rest. Goodbye.